Hello mud puddles, welcome in or welcome back. Today's pattern is going to be this cute little cactus. It is sitting in a 2-ounce or a 2-inch pot, excuse me, but you can always make the dirt bigger if you have a bigger pot. But otherwise, look how cute that is. He's even got little whiskers as cactus quills. So let's get started. You will need, of course, a little pot to put him in. I got this one just from Michael's, I think, for $2, so they're not too bad. The terracotta ones are fun, and they do work best because we'll be hot gluing him into his pot, so I feel like the slight roughness of the terracotta helps the glue stick better. We have black thread for his whiskers and nose detail, stuffing, scissors. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. I believe these are 5mm safety eyes, but you can always embroider them as well. The yarns for both your dirt and the cactus itself. So we are going to start first with a magic circle. Or chain 2 if you prefer. And then we're going to single crochet 6 into that magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then for round 2, tighten that up. We're going to increase or 2 single crochets in each stitch around. 11 and 12. And then for round 3, we're going to single crochet and then increase, which a stitch marker is usually pretty helpful for. You can always use a spare piece of thread. I've seen safety pins used, which I thought was pretty clever. But I myself prefer these locking markers. Okay, so for round 3, again, is single crochet and then increase. And then for rounds 4, 5, and 6, we're going to single crochet around. And after round 6, we are going to insert the eyes. We're going to put them between rounds 4 and 5, about 3 inches apart. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter where exactly on the ball they go. 1, 2, 3. So we're trying to make sure we give enough space so when we embroider the nose, he's still very cute. These safety eyes I got are very tough ones. Yeah. Cute. And once your safety eyes are attached, we're going to decrease and then single crochet 1 round. So we start rounding off the bottom of the cactus. I like the invisible decrease, so I'm just picking up the front loop only of each of the 2 stitches to decrease them together. We are going to decrease each stitch in the next around. So the hole at the bottom is going to get quite small, which will make stuffing it nice and firm a little bit difficult. So I'm going to decrease 3 and then stuff it. I found, got stuck on my finger. By doing half around that I'm not fighting the stuffing all the way around as much. decrease, decrease. And that should give you an end row count of 6. Now, you can use whatever color change method you like, but we are going to start working with the brown. So I'm going to slip stitch in this last half, I guess, of the decrease. Completely finish off. Switch to the brown. You haven't seen this, using barrettes to keep the yarn balls together. Probably the most brilliant hack I've seen. Then we're going to take the new yarn, and I'm going to do a standing single crochet in what would be the first stitch of the round, which is just, you have your loop on your hook, you insert into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, just like you would for any single crochet. It's just not, you know, attached to anything. And continuing around for round 9, we're going to increase in every single stitch. So I'm going to add another one to that first one, and then 2 in every stitch around. I think that should be 12. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. So then we are going to continue working in the round into round 10. So we're just going to start back in that very first standing single crochet we did, and continue on with a increase and then single crochet. And that'll give you an end row count of 18. And before you finish off, you want to, oops, sorry, camera, take your pot and start seeing where it fits. Sometimes, well, gauge doesn't matter for this pattern because it's just a little amigurumi. You should make sure he fits. This one looks like I've done it a little bit tighter and will probably need another row. So then we're going to kind of continue the traditional increase pattern of doing an increase and now 2 single crochets for this one. And that should give us that little bit extra. Oops. Increase 1 and 2. And then increase again. But that'll give us a little bit extra space because we want to make sure he'll stick up appropriately in his pot when we stuff it. You could always put something like plastic pellets or other types of scraps in the plant pot, but I definitely recommend stuffing it with something because it'll prevent your cactus from falling directly into it and sinking down. We don't want that. Two, double, 1 and 2. And same deal again before finishing off, just a final check. Yeah, that's more what you want. You want it to be slightly snug, like the exact same kind of size as the top. Perfect. So then we will finish off. So do slip stitch, chain 2, and you don't even have to leave a long thread because we're not sewing anything. We're just going to stitch it in or glue it in. And now we're going to make his ears. So switching back to green or whatever cactus colored body you're using, we're again going to magic circle. And this time single crochet 3 in it. 2, 3. And then we are going to, and this is a little bit tough because it is so small, we're going to single crochet in every stitch. I definitely recommend trying to make sure you're keeping it right side out. Unless you prefer the look of the other way, I suppose, but because it gets a little bit harder to inside out once it's all said and done, versus just keeping it that way while you work around. Okay, and then for round 3, we're going to increase in every stitch for a total of 6. Three, 4, 5, and 6, and then finish off. And this time we will leave a long tail for sewing, so we're going to sew it to the top of his head. My scissors did not cut. I'll be right back with the other ear. Okay, so now that we have both ears, my first step is going to be to cut off this extra tail from the magic circle, because I hate it when that gets in the way. But we are going to work on our sewing. So we're going to sew these to either side of the head. I just kind of eyeball it a little bit because they are based off a cactus, which while it does have a pattern usually to how they grow, they're not exactly the most uniform of plants. But we're going to sew his ears onto either side of his head. Just add a little knot at the bottom here to help make sure it doesn't slip back through, because that would be a huge bummer. Okay, now we're going to sew on the other ear. Again, I'm cutting off this little extra thread from the magic ring. And sewing on this second ear. Think about there. Seems my cactus ear got a little tangled with my real cat's hair. I love her to death, but I'll be darned if her hair doesn't get absolutely everywhere. Which is great, because I'm actually allergic to cats. And there, he's got his little ears. How freaking adorable is that? Now, because these are all just going up inside, or in the pot, or, you know, or nobody's going to see them, we'll just tie them all in one big knot, so all of the yarn stays good and together. And then we're going to take this black thread that I seem to have cut quite a long bit of, and first make some whiskers. So I have found the easiest way to do this being to double up on some thread like this, put them kind of just underneath an eyeball like this, and then tie it in a knot. Bloop. Just a simple not like you would on your double knotted shoes. And then have enough so you can cut them about where you want them for lengthwise. And yeah, it does unfortunately give you weird amounts of extra string, but I found this much easier than having them ended up cutting too short or anything like that. So again, we're gonna just double up on the yarn, just kind of underneath their eyeball there. Pull it about halfway through. Get confused and and then tie it in a knot. Somehow I managed to confuse myself on how knots work very briefly there. Bloop. Cut it to match the others. And there, whoops, those are a little bit long. So let me, I have a little jar I keep spare threads in. There we go. How cute. And now with the extra thread, I'm going to embroider a nose. So what I'm going to do is double up on thread because it makes it thicker and easier to work with. Tie a big old knot in it. And then, because there's no body, we can go up from the inside and start this way. And just kind of pull our scissors down. No, work on a triangle-y shape and make sure the scissors don't get twisted. Or the whiskers don't get twisted. And then I'm going to kind of use this middle stitch here to tie them all together. Well, not tie, maybe just loop is a better word. Just kind of loop them all together. Like, it's got a little bit of a bald spot. Like that. My goodness. Oh, it looked fine until I pulled it, and then it got a little, it's got little nostrils. Oh well, that's the beauty of handmade crafts. They're all a little bit unique, right? At least that's what I'm going with. And again, I'm going to just tie this in a knot since they're all together so that his nose doesn't come undone. And then I'm going to add a little bit of stuffing to the pot. And add, nope, that's a little much. Chop some of that off. Add his strings. And this is, at least to me, the hardest part. You're going to make sure he fits. Looks all cute. Look at that. Adorable. We'll fix his whiskers in a second. And then just kind of add a little glue. This is going to be hard to do on camera, so I'm not sure how well it's going to show up. But we're going to add a little bit of glue and kind of push his dirt in place. This is like the best craft store level glue gun I have bought. Another option is just do it this way. We're just gonna add. My glue might actually be out of glue gun. Whoops. Okay. So we're gonna start like that. And I'm gonna grab another stick because apparently my glue gun ran out. You never tell when these things are low. Okay. But we're just essentially gonna be careful with your fingers. It is hot. But essentially just kind of copy that all the way around. Just add some glue. And stuff it in place. Now my biggest warning here, I'm going to sound like somebody's mom, is that the terracotta pots do transfer heat, so be careful. They'll get warm. And we don't want you hurting your fingers grabbing a hot terracotta pot, so be careful. And then I left this tail on mine just in case I needed to pull it out for some reason, which has happened once. It didn't get glued in right, so I had to pull them back out. But there we go. Get a little bit of escaped glue. But there is our absolutely adorable little cactus. I hope you enjoyed making him. If you do make your own, be sure to tag me on any of the social medias you post them on at Mud's Yarn. But otherwise, enjoy. It makes the perfect tiny shelf decoration. Or for those of us with cats that maybe shouldn't have real plants because our cats are menaces. But we love them anyway. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!